Thank you, David, for the introduction. I was just saying to David that I'm not going to say more than what you just said about me. I think David said everything that I wanted to say tonight. But thank you.
Thank you, David.
Yeah. Again, good evening, everyone. Let me first express my appreciation and gratitude to the cast and David Jones, the chair of today's meeting, for their role to enable this great opportunity for me to become a guest speaker at your successful Rotary Club of Baldwin. And of course, thank you everyone for being here, and thank you for the free dinner. I feel honored to share with you my biography, my past and current achievements, and my long-term vision. I will start my presentation with a brief about myself, the reason I left Somalia, my time in Uganda and Australia, and my long-term vision. To give you a brief about myself, as David already said, my name is Osman Mohammed. I was born and raised in Somalia, a war-torn country in the Horn of Africa. I did my primary and high school education in Somalia, and studied English in Somalia as well. I also did a bachelor degree in agriculture and technology at La Trobe University. I'm not sure if I can call myself agronomist because I graduated, but I didn't have the opportunity to work in the industry. The reason I left Somalia, life in Somalia was not easy due to the insecurity, the political instability, and the economic crisis in the country. The issues started in 1991 after the government was overthrown and the whole institutions collapsed. In the year 2007, after the newly elected Somali government backed by Ethiopian troops entered Mogadishu, the capital city of Somalia, to defeat the Union of Islamic Courts, the situation in Somalia became tougher for young people of my age because we were at a greater risk for execution or conscription. For this reason, I left Somalia in January 2007, seeking for asylum and a better fortune, because I was determined to achieve a successful future where I can support my immediate family and the community in large. My time in Uganda. So after leaving Somalia in January 2007, I arrived to Uganda in February 2007, where I lived for 7 years. I think we can all imagine how tough it is for a young boy at his early 20s who left his country and arrived in a new country where he doesn't have any connections, no welfare, no free Medicare, no free quality educational opportunity, and had to find a paid job. But the good thing was that I received a warm welcome from the host community, and I enjoyed the peace in Uganda. I took this as an opportunity to learn and explore new culture and gain life experiences. I decided to stay strong and help my fellow refugees in Uganda who left their country for the same reason, so that they don't feel isolated and disconnected as I did when I first arrived. In the year 2009, I achieved to establish a language center called TESOL, School of Language, where hundreds of urban refugees in Kampala studied basic English to better communicate and integrate with the host community. I also served as the chairperson of Somali, Digila and Mirifle tribal community in Kampala between 2012 and 2013. That was just before I came to Australia. Upon arriving in Australia, through UNHCR Uganda, I have been offered a permanent humanitarian visa to resettle permanently to this great country. On the 50th day of November 2013, I arrived in Adelaide, where I lived for 6 months before moving to our multicultural city of Melbourne. Upon arriving in Melbourne in 2014, I started volunteering role at the North Melbourne Somali Language and Culture School, where I taught Somali language and culture to children from the Somali heritage in Melbourne. Gurmat Somali Relief. In the year 2016, I proposed to some of my community members an idea to establish a humanitarian organization that helps disadvantaged people who have been affected by both man-made and natural disasters in Somalia. After several attempts, because my friends didn't realize that this will happen, that we can establish a humanitarian organization that helps people in back home. So I have been speaking to a couple of friends and everyone was saying, no, we can't do this. But after several attempts, I found 4 co-founders who accepted and welcomed the idea, and we established an organization called Gurmat Somali Relief. We provide both humanitarian and development projects in Somalia. This includes food packs given to flood or drought afflicted households in Somalia, free cataract surgery for patients with cataract disease, and free educational opportunities for orphans who lost their father or both parents. COVID response. In the year 2020, I was able to secure my first professional paid job in Australia as a senior health concierge working with Core Health COVID response team, who have been tasked to provide in-language COVID-19 and health information and resources to people living in high-risk accommodations, such as public housing towers. Also, we have been promoting COVID-19 testing and vaccinations to help control the spread of the virus. Glinda Cast, who is here with us tonight, was our community health nurse at Fitzroy. And she was much loved by the staff and all residents. And thank you very much, Glinda, for your great contributions. While I was working with Core Health, I also worked as a community outreach project worker at the Ethnic Communities Council of Victoria, ECCV. And then within 2 months, I took over another role within ECCV as the Victorian coordinator of the Speak My Language Disability Project. And this project aims to empower people with disabilities through storytelling and information sharing. We create in-language podcasts for people with disabilities to help them understand how to live well in Australia. During COVID-19, I established a touring company called Sunrise Community College to provide maths and English touring program for school children who have been impacted by COVID-19 to help them catch up their learnings. And we had more than 4 tutors working and over 60 students. Service provision. So during COVID, when it became too difficult to reach elders and people with language barriers, I decided to start a new translation company called Swift Language Services, but previously known as Multilingual Language Services, that assisted organizations and business to translate their health promotion and other documents into their target language. This did not only facilitate and enhance communications with the multicultural communities, but also created job opportunities for many refugees. My passion to support people with disabilities to meet their needs and reach their dreams has driven me to establish NDIS service provider company called Compassionate Disability Care. We are not only providing service to NDIS participants, but also created paid opportunities for people who struggle to find jobs in Australia. My long-term vision, and that's the last one. So my vision is to eliminate ignorance and poverty in Africa. I recently bought an acre of land in Kampala city of Uganda, where tens of thousands of refugees and millions of low-income households live. I'm planning to build 4-story of 20 classroom building that will provide quality education to approximately 800 primary school students. This project will also create employment opportunities for refugees and people from the host community to ensure everyone has a roof over their head and food on the table. When time comes, an opportunity arises, I will invest in the agricultural industry to decrease living costs and increase the employment opportunities. Thank you again for giving me this opportunity to speak in front of you. I'm happy to take questions.